Well, hi, this is John Labman at Liberation Laboratory, and you can find me at simplyawake.com or by writing to support at simplyawake.com. Today, I'd like to talk about what I think is a fallacy in enlightenment and awakening and liberation teaching, which is that somehow or other, once we are fully liberated or enlightened, our individuality totally disappears. And when I say it out loud, I mean, it sounds obviously absurd that somehow the uniqueness of this individual physical corporeal being just vanishes. But in a lot of ways, that's what I was promised when I started on this path so many years ago. And I understand that people have experiences where, and maybe it's good if I describe how the brain is split into two hemispheres, which are connected. The left hemisphere is where our logic and our words are created on the left side of our head. And the left limbic system, or the emotional system of the left brain, is where particularly survival, pain-related, fear-related, anger-related emotional experience is stored. And the right brain seems to be where we access a sense of timelessness, spacelessness, overall picture, a sense of no boundaries, what everyone else calls the spiritual sense. That's where we have our access to what we consider the divine, or the absolute, or Buddha nature, or pure consciousness, or awareness, or whatever else you might want to call what can't be named, the Tao, God, whatever. Okay, so we have these two brain hemispheres, and a lot of traditional spiritual teaching says focus on the right brain and all that it does, and learn to meditate and be mindful, because if you just do enough of that, all of the problems of the left brain will somehow disappear, and the identity of the left brain will disappear, and the bad memories of the left brain will disappear. And recently I'm like, well, wait a minute. If that really were to happen, what would be the point of God or the all or being incarnating as you? Since, at least in reincarnation theory, we're here to learn lessons and take them on to the next life. Well, if we don't actually learn anything, we don't remember anything, we don't have any memories, we don't have any reactivity, are we still even an individual? Is there anything to bring with us? Not only that, I read Jill Bolte Taylor's book, Stroke of Insight, some years back, and I'm reading her other one, Whole Brain Living, now. And when she's a neuroanatomist, a PhD Harvard scientist, she had a stroke at age 38, which totally shut down all the circuitry of her left brain. She was immediately kind of launched into what everyone considers nirvana, a sense of oneness, a sense of peacefulness, a sense of indivisibility from everything else arising, what some people experience in a psilocybin trip, for instance, an experience of no time, no space, no identity, no emotional memory, no mental memory, no words, no ability to distinguish the hand from the face, from the screen, from the camera, from anything else at all. Totally one in the most complete sense with all that is. Trouble was, she couldn't communicate that to anybody because she had no words. She had no emotional memory. She had no knowledge-based memory, no linguistic memory. She didn't remember what she had done here for 38 years. And so even having experienced this wonderful, enlightened or nirvanic condition, she couldn't communicate it to anybody. And this one person's experience has basically profoundly changed my understanding of what it means to be awake, liberated, and enlightened. Because it means that actually the left brain stays online after we discover all this wonderful stuff that the right brain is connected to, which in a sense is where we find so-called liberation or infinity. We find it through the right brain. But lots of people have had the experience that they think that all the words and the emotion falls away, and that can go on for them for years, or at least someone in my knowledge said it went on for 6 months. But then suddenly, the left brain is still there. Duh. It's still functioning. Duh. If it didn't function, you would basically be a vegetable on the floor, indistinguishable from anything else. Not only that, would you be learning any lessons in this lifetime to take on to the next life? Not only that, would you be able to communicate the wonders of liberation to anyone else if you had no left brain, no identity, and no ability to interact with three-dimensional reality? No, you wouldn't. So my conjecture is that in my early days in enlightenment training, I was sold a bill of goods. And until last summer, when I worked with somebody named Emerson of Emerson Non-Duality, I still thought I was supposed to reach some condition called no self, where the chattering voice in my head that creates language and the interface with the rest of humanity and my emotional memories and all my pain and sorrow would just vanish or disappear. And suddenly I realized that's just another set of ideas. And if you look at the evidence, it's not really true. Liberation or enlightenment does not mean that the left brain goes offline, that we don't remember anything that we've learned, that there isn't any wisdom to be had in this lifetime, that we're just kind of walking around like this, stumbling into everything because we can't tell ourselves from it. So I know this will probably be difficult for many to understand, and I'm still trying to grapple with it myself. But I wanted to make this video because it's suddenly very clear to me that whatever I thought I was getting with liberation is not really what happened and happens. And I don't also think that there's any ending to this process. So for anybody to say that they are liberated, well, really, the personal self is kind of like an interface with three-dimensional reality. What's liberated is simply that we discover that we've always been attached to infinity and eternity, and we are that by our nature. And that sort of radically changes our relationship with our little chattering voice in our head that thinks of itself as I or me, because it's obvious that's not I or me. But this doesn't go away over here, folks. I've never met anybody who functioned in the world who was liberated, and this part went away over here, this left brain. So just leave you with that conundrum to puzzle over, and have a wonderful day.